What's up, Epic 7? TristenWulf here, and as you can see, we've reached RC15, and it's time to do our Robin solo. So I'm going to show you how to build it, talk about different builds, and what you're going to need to min-max this and make it work. So, first things first, your Rift controllers. Once you hit RC15, just go straight down the left side. You're going to want the Rift controller that lets her ignore effect resistance. You're going to want the Rift controller that gives her vampirism. That's going to be key for cell survival. And you're going to want the Rift controller that has it so that when only one hero is assigned to the team, you basically get to just go S3, S2, S3, S2 over and over and over again. This means no friendship farming, guys. Sorry, if you want a friendship farm, Rift is not going to be the place. No imprints, nothing special. It's got to be just raw Robin on the team. Now, before I get into how she's built, I want to tell you that I tried lots and lots of different builds, and they all worked. I tried this damage build, and this damage build worked pretty good. It cleared with 15 or 16 turns left on the bar. It wasn't super efficient because she wasn't taking as many turns, but it hit really hard to make up for it, so that worked. I tried this Giga Fast build with no crit chance or crit damage, just a straight up burn build, and you know what? It was a little dodgy at the start. I was a little worried she wouldn't have enough health to hang in there, but she lapped and took so many turns that she did stay alive, and it once again cleared with about 16 turns left on the bar. I tried slower builds with higher crit damage, and I found that burn damage is still king in this. You still want your burn damage to be the main source of your damage, so I eventually settled on this build. And this is a high attack, middling speed build with all of the other stats to make this fight work. So first things first, you need to be above 180 speed, as we discussed, but I'm finding right around the 200 to 220 speed mark seems to be ideal for cycling, but allowing you to have enough tack to do damage. You're going to have to cook it yourself and figure out where your best speed per attack ratio is, but don't sweat it too much. They all work. It's just if you want to min-max clearing it, 1 or 2 turns faster. Next, you want to have 100% crit chance on her. If you're going to go the route of no crit chance, you either need to make her really, really bulky, or you need to make her really, really fast so she takes 2 turns instead of 1 to keep herself healed, because without those crits, she's not going to heal enough with the vampirism. She doesn't really need any crit damage, just, enough crit so that the crit damage can modify the attack and keep her healthy. Pump the rest into attack. Now, since she's alone, we need the full 120% effectiveness. Now, this may seem like a little bit of a departure from the normal, whatever the ER is, minus 15%. But remember, this boss has 120 ER. Normally, you would subtract 15 from that and say, okay, so 105 is all I need. But in this situation, we don't have absolute resistance to contend with. That means there's no reason to subtract the minus 15 because we can legitimately go all the way up to 100% effectiveness. That's what that EE means when it says final effectiveness is 100%. It means instead of final effectiveness being 85 and you always have 15% absolute, there is no 15% absolute. So you need your effectiveness to match the boss's effect resistance. So 120 is where it's at. Now, I'm running the artifact Dux Noctis on her. At plus 30, this artifact will give you 36% additional attack. That amount of attack pumped into this girl makes your burns hit so damn hard. It is by far and away the best in slot artifact for Rift. Now, if you do not have your Dux Noctis or you don't have it maxed out, another option for you would be the Frantic Flight artifact. Now, the Frantic Flight artifact, that's going to get you up to plus 24 attack. It's also going to give you some crit damage and crit chance, making it a little easier to build your Robin. You can go down to 90% crit chance with this artifact. And the extra crit damage, that's just a little bit of a bonus, but the 24 attack is really where it's at. This artifact is easier to get at plus 30. It's available from the event. I hope you guys picked it up. I tried to tell people. Everyone said this artifact's not worth getting. It's going to be usable moving forward. It is more gear score for a single unit than any artifact in the game. So you definitely want to make sure you go pick up your Frantic Flight and use it if you don't have Dux Noctis. If you have Dux Noctis and you have Frantic Flight, let's say your Dux Noctis is only plus 21, that makes your Dux almost exactly the same as your Frantic Flight. I would go with Frantic Flight over Dux if it's only plus 21 Dux. Once you get to plus 24 and above on Dux Noctis, I think Dux Noctis starts to edge out Frantic Flight and be a better artifact. And at plus 30, it's significantly better. If you don't have either of these artifacts, then your next best option is, of course, an Assassin's Pledge. The reason that this one is so good, it doesn't help your attack any. Well, I mean, I guess it gives you a little flat attack, but it doesn't really help your attack, but it lowers your effectiveness needs. So right here, even at plus 15, this takes 22.5% off my effectiveness. So I only need 100 effectiveness now. Instead of needing 120, I can drop it down to 100. Lowering that effectiveness just opens up more room on my gear to pile on more attack, so I can build a stronger Robin. So yeah, I'm not getting bonus attack from the artifact, but I can get bonus attack in my stats because I'm getting bonus effectiveness here. Gear score wise, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So this is kind of effectively the same as getting 22% attack if your gear is able to work at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, it does have a 75% chance to inflict burns. So people are like, yeah, but what if it doesn't inflict burns? Then it doesn't do anything for 2 turns. That's not how this works. It can only activate once per turn. That means it has to activate a burn to count. So if I hit and I get 25%ed, the next round is like nothing happened. I still have a 75% chance to hit again. It only goes on cooldown when the burn sticks. So even at plus 15, by the time you do 2 attacks, you've probably stuck that burn. So it's really not a whale artifact. Of course, at plus 30, it's way more reliable, a little more stable, but it is perfectly functional in this, even at plus 15. If you do not have any of those artifacts, I mean, you could even start looking at some of the 3-star artifacts like Sword of the Morning, which will give you more attack and speed when your health is below 50%. Or you could consider Rannon's Memorandum. It's not going to help your attack, but 18 additional speed means you can run a little bit slower or take your existing build and make it much, much faster. 18% is like wearing 2 speed sets practically. It's going to really ramp up your turns. It stacks up to 10 times. You'll get through that very quickly, and you will see a significant increase in damage output with how fast you're taking turns. And though you shouldn't need it, if you cannot seem to survive, if you seem to keep dying in the initial phase, you just don't have enough health, you can't quite get the build, you can always slap Bloodstone on there and squeeze a little bit more healing out on your slower, lower damage build. You will be able to drop this as you climb to higher RC levels, because at higher RC levels, you will do more damage, resulting in higher healing per hit, so you'll have better sustain starting out the fight. So that's it, guys. That's the artifacts, that's the gearing, that's the effectiveness. Attack, way more important than crit damage when you go to build this girl. Remember to make sure you have your hunt pet set up. You want the hunt pet that gives you the additional drop of gear and the additional charm. Whether or not you go for additional reforge mats or double rift energy is up to you. You don't even need that last one. These first 2 are critical. Okay, let's jump in and see how this girl performs. Okay, guys, just like previous fights, skills are on. You press auto and go. Now, see how hard that first hit was? It's because the boss has still got all of his buffs. And because he has got all of his buffs, you start taking a lot of damage. You might be thinking to yourself, oh my god, I'm not going to survive this. Look at this healing. That healing was not enough. It barely got me back up to the 2/3 mark. Now I'm down to a sliver. But the more you attack, the more you cycle, the more you start to pull away the authorities on the boss. And that's what's critical. See, we got rid of one of the authority buffs. Now we're getting rid of the 2nd and 3rd authority buff. Suddenly the boss isn't hitting as hard anymore. We're still pretty hurt, but now we can start keeping up with the damage. We start racking up the shackles, and as we ramp up the shackles, we start ramping up our own damage. And as we ramp up our own damage, we start healing more. So you just have to get over this initial hump. If you're noticing that you're dying here, if you're noticing that you're not quite staying ahead of the Alakypton's damage, then put a little bit more bulk on your unit, a little bit more health, a little bit more defense, just to get you past the hump. Because once you get to about this point where you got 3 shackles, now the Alakypton isn't able to do even 50% of your damage in a single hit. Now we're staying fully healed, we're cycling, and we're increasing these debuffs. Because we've got that 3rd device, we're just going S3, S2, S3, S2. We're stacking the debuffs, stacking the burns. When the burns pop, we do insane damage. You guys see that damage? Woof. Really high damage. And that's what lets us clear so fast. We are almost to the halfway point now. We've got, where are we on that bar? Not quite. We got 10 HP bars left, but we're chewing through it, guys. Every time the boss takes a turn, he takes big burn damage, and when the boss does his ultimate, he detonates all of the burns, taking insane damage. Let's keep stacking them up. Now we've just passed the halfway point with 25 Rift Controller rounds left. Down to 6. That was a big pop when all those burns went off. Time to start stacking the burns back up again. With the Alakypton so far back, we should cut and extend the burns. Man, Robin's animations are so good. Art department really knocked it out of the park on her. She is so damn cool. Down to 4 turns. Or 4 bars left, I should say. Extending. More burns. One more hit here. One more extension. This is the round where the Alakypton takes his turn and ultimate, so he's going to detonate these burns, and bam, he is dead with a 798,000 damage detonate, and we cleared with 18 turns left on the HP, or on the Rift controllers. We had 18 whole rounds left. Very fast, very clean, very consistent clear. Now, depending on which build you go, you could be anywhere between 14 and 18 turns to clear. A PvP Robin, if you've got a Robin built for RTA and you're enjoying her, this is the point where you can say, finally, I can use my PvP Robin in Rift. There's no reason to build 2 Robins. A PvP version will work just fine here. So no need to build 2 Robins. This is the point where you get to put all your gear back. Everybody that built Mercedes and Carrot and Hazel and ruined their Nightmare Raid builds, stole gear from their best units to build their Rift team. Now you can put all of that stuff back and just cycle into just Robin, soloing it, and enjoy your gear being back where it belonged. Enjoy your units going back to their old jobs, if you have Robin. And that's what I recommend. For those of you who aren't here yet, do this. Put your best heckin' gear on your Mercedes, on your Carrot, on your Robin. Strip whoever your most important units are, doesn't matter. Put your best gear on so that you can get down to 1 turn clears, so you can stamina efficient climb to RC15. Once you get to RC15, it all goes home. But if you're 1 turn clearing instead of 2 turn clearing, that means you're doing 40 stamina entries instead of 40 plus 20, 60 stamina entries. And that's going to let you get to RC15 so much faster, save you so much stamina. Now, if you don't have Robin, if you didn't pull Robin, that's okay. You can still continue to run the Mercedes, Carrot, Aramintha, Hazel team, or whatever combination that you are finding that clears. It's still going to be a 1 turn clear. You're still going to be dedicating pretty good gear to it. But as you progress further and further and further, the gear demand is going to lower. You're going to be able to put lower and lower gear on them. And eventually, by the time you get to RC21, you can have garbage leftover gear holding gear on your Rift team and still be 1 turn clearing and not have to worry about stealing your best gear. Oh, and for the people who are wondering about Charlotte, I am going to test Charlotte later today. In the device section, you will see that there are devices that are for running 2-man teams and that help you when you have a knight on the team. And I have heard through the grapevine that Charlotte and Robin together is even more efficient. We're going to test that, try to figure that out. And if I can do it, I'll put another video up for you guys. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, Epic 7.